Welcome in to episode 170 of Fired Up. I'm your host, Dom Consul. With me, as always, is Chris Lucia. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hopefully, we're live right now. Listen, this is a total shit show, a total train wreck. We teased for the last couple of weeks. This is like a new thing that we're doing. So Mike and I haven't really had a chance to like sit down and he's still trying to figure it out, but we haven't really had a chance to sit down and like show. He hasn't had a chance to show me how to use this new thing. So hopefully this works out. We have no intro. We have no outro.
It says live.
Yeah, it says live. We'll see if we are. I'm just gonna double check. But in the meantime, in case we are live, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just Eagles win, Phillies loss. Sixers are going to Chinatown. Flyers are in the West Coast. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah. A ton going on. Obviously we had the Phillies end. We had an Eagles game. Like you said, the Flyers season started. They're in Canada. And the Sixers are playing preseason games. And so we can dive into all of it. We can dive into some of it.
And Penn State's ranked number 3 in the country.
There you go. And they had a big comeback win. I did not watch a second of it though.
Oh man, that I said I'm living my best life right now.
Yeah,
Penn State ranked 3. That's the highest I've ever seen them.
The worst possible thing for Penn State is this new playoff format because now you're never going to get rid of the coach.
Yeah, I know.
It's the best and worst possible thing for Penn State football.
That tight end Warren for them?
Say that again?
Warren, the tight end for them, Warren.
Uh-huh.
Tyler Warren. Dude, he's going to be a problem at the next level.
I mean, I hope so for the sake of just football and like Penn State football. I thought Gesicki was going to be great, and Gesicki's an okay player. Like he's one of those guys that has a good week, and then he's a little shaky for a couple weeks. Yeah. He's better than a lot of other tight ends, but I thought he was going to be a game changer. You know who I thought was going to be a game changer? Not Penn State guy. I thought the best guy in the draft, what was it, 4 years ago? I thought Kyle Pitts was going to be the best tight end, the best player in his draft. And he hasn't really panned up to that.
Dude from Georgia that Pittsburgh took. What's his name? The big dude. Washington? Darnell Washington? That was like 2 years ago. Darnell Washington?
Yeah.
I think his name was. He's yet to arrive yet, and Phired just signed a huge contract there.
It's weird because it's weird because the tight end position in general, especially in fantasy, like last year was a really weird year because usually you see like rookie running backs or rookie receivers have really great fantasy years. Dude, the tight end position last year was insane at the rookie level. Like Laporta, Kincaid. There was a couple other guys I can't think of right now. But yeah, I mean, it just seemed kind of like unexpected. But yeah, so
dude, Tyler Warren, real quick, his stats against USC: 17 receptions, 224 yards, and a touchdown.
Right,
from the tight end position.
In a comeback win.
Yeah. They ran one play, dude. I don't know if you saw it, where he was lined up all the way at like left tackle. He snapped the ball to Aller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aller threw it over to another quarterback, and then they hit him in the end zone, right? For like a yeah.
It was crazy. And he lined up on the left tackle spot. Everybody else was on the right side. Snaps the ball and just goes deep.
Just straight mossing.
Dude, that's like fucking schoolyard, middle of the street, middle of South Philly, like snap the ball and go deep.
Dude, do you remember playing football when we used to just call auto and you could just go wherever you're running?
Yeah, I remember we used to be able to. So I don't know if you and I ever played this way, but when I was a kid, most of the kids that I grew up with playing, if there was a guy staying in counting, like the pass rusher, if a receiver or if like somebody was going out would cross the middle between the quarterback and the like pass rusher, the guy
Counter.
that's counting, yeah.
Yeah.
If you run in between them, it's a free rush.
Yeah.
So you
I
because usually you
I
use a
just
blitz, one blitz, you get one blitz per
yeah.
per drive, and the quarterback usually gets one run per drive. And but we used to play if you cross the middle, it didn't happen often, but every once in a while somebody crossed the middle, and it'd be a free blitz for the defensive end or the pass rusher or whatever you
I
want to
just
call him.
I just remember when somebody would just call auto.
Yeah,
You'd have to like be playing defense the entire time,
yeah,
like
yeah,
as
yeah,
you're walking back from like you're playing
yeah.
man coverage the whole
We
time.
didn't do that as we got older. We did that like in like when we were like
Yeah, when
8.
you're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we were like 13, 14, we're like, yeah, we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's not fair.
No. Um you just had like the fastest kid just stay in the back and just be like
Yeah.
auto and then just chuck it up. Yeah. But yeah, so let's get into it. What do you want to go first? 'Cause, we could save the Flyers talk for Mike. I don't I don't know if you stayed up. I stayed up Friday. Well, I tried to stay up Friday. I fell asleep halfway through the first period. I heard the Forrester goal and it woke me up, and I was like, yeah, I got to go to bed. On the couch, or sleeping on the couch, and then Saturday I made it through the first period, and then I was like, I had a long week, so I couldn't really watch. Um,
Yeah.
so I
I
mean,
didn't watch any,
yeah, we could wait for
but
Mike
I
next week.
did check the box score. I checked the
Yeah,
box score to see like what Koff did. I think he
yeah,
had 4 shots on goal the first game.
something like that. Yeah, and then he had his first point the second game. He had an assist.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna wait for Mike for the expertise on that. I mean, I have some opinions. But I kind of want to see what he thinks of my opinions. So like I said, let's go over the Sixers too. We'll knock that out of the park while while we're here before we get into the real stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously they played a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
of preseason games. Paul George played the second preseason game, looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Maxey I think played the second and third, or maybe Paul George played the third. I think that's what it was. Maxey played the second and third game. Or the first and second, it might have been. I don't know. But things looking good. Big announcement today. I don't know if you saw, but they said that Joel will not be playing back to backs
Never.
ever.
Never.
Right.
Again in his career.
Which I did the quick math. I quickly looked through the schedule this year. I could be off by a number or two, but I think there's only like 10 or 11 back to backs the whole season. So you factor that in with, because he didn't play too many back to backs. He did the last few years, but they did leave him out at some points. Just add in another 10 or 15 games he's going to miss. He'll play 60 games. Like I see a lot of people that are up in arms about this whole thing, and it's like, I don't know. Do you want to like save this guy for the postseason, or like, you know,
Right. Yeah.
run him into the ground? And I don't know if you saw too. I think Paul George, they said today, won't be playing most back to backs either.
Yeah. I mean, I think they know what the success is. It's Embiid being healthy, and
Yeah, in
I mean,
April.
I'm just surprised Embiid like agreed to that because I'm sure they approached him with it, but that's just showing like, okay, maybe he isn't a me guy, maybe he is a we guy
Yeah, of
sort of
course.
thing.
I
When
definitely
for the
think.
most time,
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your point.
I just don't know. It might be hard for him to win an MVP on not playing back, missing 11 games.
Yeah, I don't think he really cares about the MVP. I think once he got his MVP, I think it's all bets are off. The next thing is to win. I think he's always wanted to win, but that MVP was always there, or winning that MVP was always going to be there. I think once he's got his MVP, I think now he's at a point last year and going into this year where it's winner bust. And I think that he understands that I have to be 100%, or you're probably never going to be 100% in any sport going into the playoffs. Like it's tough to do that, but you have to be as close to 100% as possible. And I think he understands that. And I think that the moves that they made this season, along with Drummond, Paul George, like all these things, I think you're going to see Embiid play less minutes than he's ever played before, which are going to equal less in points. And I just think that he understands that. And if that's what it means if I have to play I don't know, 33 minutes, 32 minutes, 30 minutes a night, but it means I get to play close to 40 plus minutes, 43 minutes in the playoffs. Like, I
Yeah.
think he takes it. So
Yeah.
I think he understands that I don't have a normal body. I don't have a body like LeBron or, like a lot of these guys. He's a big guy, and I think he understands that these are the things to do to win a championship, and these are the sacrifices you have to make if you really, really want to win. And it seems like he really, really wants to win.
Which is good. It's good for us to know that, and it's good that they built their core around that now. I
Yeah,
mean, Maxi's going to be out there every night. You're never going to see. I don't think you miss. He misses a game.
right.
Um,
Unless of injury,
and I think and I think the
right?
rest of the team's just going to have to when he's not playing the other night, like okay, this is Maxi's. Well, Maxi will get his, but like um, other guys are going to have to step up in that situation.
Yeah, I mean it's huge to bring Drummond in. I had my gripes. I like Drummond a lot. I think he's the perfect guy behind Embiid. My problem was that they spent money on somebody who's probably not going to play much in the playoffs, and like I would rather use that money for a guy that's going to play in the playoffs. And that's my only like gripe with Drummond. But now seeing all this, it's like it makes even more sense that they bring in a guy like him because when he was here, like what did he do? He played his game, right? Like he played
Yep.
physical. He was able to get into foul trouble coming off the bench. He commit 5 fouls and still play his game because he had Embiid, you know. And then there are the nights that Embiid's not going to play that he can come out and play. So, I don't know if you saw his comments. It was today or yesterday. Did you see what he said, Drummond?
No,
He said,
no, no.
when the best, or because they asked him about coming back here, and he said, when the best center in the league calls you and asks you to come back, that's what you do.
Oh,
So,
right at Jokic.
um,
Um,
so yeah, I mean,
when
I
it
mean, the Sixers start soon, so we'll definitely be keeping eyes on them.
who do you think's their MVP this year?
The Sixers.
Yeah, if who's going to be their MVP?
I mean, I
We
think
know.
I think Embiid's going to be the most valuable to them. Um, but given that he's going to miss time inevitably, even outside of not playing the back to backs, I still think they're going to sit him some nights, even if he doesn't have like this big injury. I still think they are going to sit him sometimes. Like if they have, I think I saw a couple games where they have like they play like every other night for like 4 nights in a row, or like they have 4 games like 8 nights or something, like a couple different times.
Yeah, he'll
I
miss
wouldn't be
2 of
shocked
them.
if they just said, you know what, you don't even have to come to Orlando. Just stay. Just stay in Philly. So I wouldn't be shocked if like that kind of thing happens. I think he plays 60-65 if he stays healthy. Um, with that being said, I think he's going to be their most valuable in terms of when he's on the floor. Um, but if I had to go an actual MVP, I think the easy thing is Maxi, but I genuinely do think Paul George is going to be important.
Okay. How many All Stars do you think they have?
Basketball's tough.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
tough.
tough.
It's tough to get an all star.
You only get what 20 on each side?
I think it's 14.
14? Okay,
Yeah.
even tougher.
Um. Oof. I mean, I think Maxi gets it because he plays, and it's really a popularity contest. So Paul George and Embiid probably get one too. But it's really hard to have 3 guys go for you.
Yeah,
Um.
especially when the Knicks at the same time,
Yeah.
they built a powerhouse over there too.
I'm gonna say Paul George. And I think Embiid gets it because of popularity. I think Maxi's gonna have a really good year. I think he still may progress. But I'm gonna go. And I know he was there last year, but I just think it's such a popularity contest that I just think that they leave him off. Because there's usually like 3 or 4 guys that are left off that probably deserve it over other guys, but it's
Yeah.
such a popularity contest.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Paul George and Embiid.
Okay. I think Maxi and Embiid.
Okay,
I think George will be a great player for them. I think that I think he knows his role while he's
sure.
here. I think he know I don't know, is he the second option or the third?
I think it depends on the night. I think going into it, he's the third, but I do think
Okay.
that there are going to be nights where it's his turn. Like, look at Golden State when they were going on their runs, right? Like, one night, and I know we're not gonna I'm not gonna compare Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George to Durant, Curry, and Thompson, but like, and even Draymond, but like, there were nights where it was Durant one night, and then the next night it was Curry, and then the next game it was Thompson, then it was Curry again, and then the game after that it was Durant and Curry. Like, I do think they're gonna try to have some of that formula. Um,
Balance attack.
yeah, I just think it depends who they play. I really do. I think when Embiid's out there, he's gonna get his. I think they're all gonna get theirs. I do. So we'll just see how it bounces.
How
It balances out. I love Nick Nurse, so I think Nick Nurse is going to be really good at distributing it.
how important do you think it's going to be to play Boston and the Knicks tough in the regular season?
Well, tough. Like in terms of like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that?
That's a must play game for Embiid no matter what. Like no matter what you're playing Boston and New York.
Probably. There's probably a couple teams, honestly, that it's that theory. I think I don't know for sure, but let's say hypothetically, the Knicks are one of the back-to-back games. I do think that's the game they pick for him to
Okay.
play. And same thing with like Paul George, but it's funny because I think the 2 seed is the best seed to get in basketball. I think it's better than the 1 seed personally. So I'm rooting for the 2 seed in the playoffs.
Why do you think so?
Because the way that the formatting works, it doesn't reseed. I think the two seed plays. What is it? 5 and 4. 5 and no.
7, right?
Yeah. Whoever plays, it's 2 and 7, and then the next round would be It's not 5 and 4. Is it 5 and 4? Or 3 and 6? I think it's 5 and 4. I'd rather play 5 and 4 than 3 or than the potential playing 3.
Right.
But that backfired. Okay. That backfired for them against Atlanta. So, or no, they were the 1 seed that year.
Yeah, they were 1. Yep.
Yeah.
They've been everything in these past couple of years.
Yes.
All over. I don't think they found a formula that works for them.
No.
1 seed, we lose. 2 seed,
they were a 1 seed. They were a 2 seed. They were a 4 seed. What were they this year? 6 seed or 7 seed? 7?
6.
6. Okay.
I think they were 6.
No, they were 7 because they played the play-in. The Knicks were the 2. Yeah, they beat Miami at home.
Okay. All right, so 7.
Yeah.
So we're literally all over the place.
Yes.
Can't figure out a winning formula.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna be invested. But I'm not gonna. It's just not interesting until February. It's not totally interesting until like late January, early February. That's when the season really starts. Unfortunately, but yeah, I'm somewhat excited. I guess I just have my guard up.
You have to.
Yeah.
With these Philadelphia sports anymore.
All of them.
I mean,
every single one of them.
We've always had to, but in this time of need, we definitely need our guard up. We buy in just a little bit.
Yep. I was gonna just say, speaking of the new Sixers, that's a great transition for the Phillies. Unless you have anything else for the Sixers.
No. We can talk about the new Phillies.
The new Sixers, yeah, the new Sixers over here. The team that gets into the playoffs has all these expectations, and they just seem to underperform, and they regress every year. Give me your thoughts, because I feel like you and I didn't really talk too much about the Phillies as it was going on.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Dude, it was like a tough, like that weekend, the Saturday and Sunday game, I closed at my building. Like it was just like a tough, like for me to watch. And then like, it just like ruined me in work. Like it just ruined my mood. And then I'm like, you know what? Like I kind of knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I remember saying like, I don't know who I said it to, but I'm like, the Mets are just like so hot right now that like, we're gonna get what's coming to us. Plus, the law of averages always evens out, and like it only makes sense that we did it for the past 2 years. It was gonna get done to us, but I think a couple of things we both agreed on when we
At least
did
it wasn't the
text was
Braves.
no, but I think the Mets are almost worse because the Mets fans are so obnoxious. The Braves fans aren't. I mean, I'm sure they can be, but they're not that
Sure.
obnoxious. Like I don't know. Mets fans are just so
I
obnoxious.
just thought that if the Braves got in, it was good. Like going into it, looking at if we had to play the Mets, there was nothing in me that didn't think that the Mets were gonna met. They weren't gonna met, right? Like I just thought the Mets were gonna
Yeah,
met because they always do, right? And they still can. But like I just thought if they played the Braves, like the baseball gods were just gonna strike us down and like which they did anyway, but
yeah,
I just thought it'd be a little bit worse with the Braves because the Braves had to be looking at the Phillies like the Braves fans, the Braves just had to be looking at us like laughing their ass off.
yeah. Like you understand now.
But honestly, like if you think about it, the Phillies are the only team that had to buy that didn't make it this far. The Yankees I'm watching right now, the Yankees and Guardians both had to buy, and
Yep.
the Dodgers had to buy. So
Yep.
there goes that theory.
Yeah.
I, I,
Um.
I, I, I just don't think that the Mets. I don't think the Mets are better than the Phillies. I did in that series, yes, but I thought the Phillies beat themselves in
Yeah.
that series
Sure did.
because of the approach and because of the chase rate. Like I don't know if you saw last night. I know the Mets won today, but I don't know if you saw last night. Through 5 innings, the Mets threw 70 pitches. Only 6 times the Dodgers chased for a
Yep.
pitch, and the Dodgers kicked their ass yesterday. Like they won. So I just think their approach was good, and the Phillies just did not have a good approach.
Dude, and who's that? And that comes down to Kevin Long. I mean, he's got to go. If he's not fired, like I'm gonna be very
Well,
surprised.
okay. Well, let me ask you this: What if what if I said they keep Kevin Long
And get
because
Juan Soto.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, but we keep saying this. Like, what if we get this guy and plug it in place? Like, I'm I'm gonna believe that if you get Juan Soto, his chase rate's gonna go through the roof.
I
Like
mean,
Turner did it. Turner has done it since he's got here and been under Kevin Long.
I actually thought Turner had. I thought Turner was the third best Philly this week, and I know that being the third best Philly in this series wasn't much. Um, I actually liked his approach more than anybody in game. What was it 3 and 4? I thought he had the best approach. Did he strike out one time with a bad approach? Sure, it happens.
My
Here's my argument with Trey Turner is sure, is he worth the 300 million? Probably not. They gave him 300 million. He's probably not worth the 300 million. But he is very, very far down the list of what I thought the problem was in this series. Um, since
yeah,
he's been a Philly, he's hit 315 in the playoffs for them. And he's actually not. I don't know if you've ever seen his career stats in the playoffs. They're very bad. Um, since coming to the Phillies, he's been actually really great. Um, his defense is not there. I would move him to center field next year. Like I would do 100 different things next year. That's just me. But um, I actually thought Trey Turner had a pretty good approach in game 3 and 4.
I don't like the only thing I don't like is some guys are just like you know what they're gonna do when they get up there. So Turner, it doesn't matter where that first pitch is, he's swinging. Like that
But he
first
didn't do
pitch
that
can
the entire
be
in 3 and 4. He didn't do that though. Game 3, when they loaded the bases, he saw ball one in the dirt. So it was a walk on Schwarber. Turner comes up. Turner watches ball one. The second pitch comes in. It's a changeup down the middle that falls out of the zone. He swings at it. It looks like a strike. I go for it. That's the approach. Is if it looks like a strike, you swing. It looks like a strike. Comes out of the zone. He misses it. Okay, happens. The next 3 pitches he walks on. Like I don't know. I just thought that we didn't see enough of between outside of Schwarber and Turner. I don't think we saw much of an approach at all. And that even includes
yeah,
Harper, but Harper's such a free swinger, and Harper's so great at finding the mistake that he's so great at finding the mistake and capitalizing on it. And I think that's so rare. That change up, that bases loaded change up, like he just missed it. It happens.
yep, yeah.
You can't always
I
hit it,
think
and you can't always blame Bryce. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying you like people can't always just blame Bryce because, especially in game 6 and 7 last year, like Mike's dad said it the best. We were talking, and he basically said like it's so hard to be upset with Bryce in Game 6 and 7 last year because he's been so money in the playoffs for the Phillies. Sometimes you really just need other guys to show up, right? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. I thought that Turner, Castellanos, and Harper were the three best guys in this series.
Yeah, and then just going on like Stott. Yeah, no matter what, he's not swinging first pitch.
Yeah,
If you can put it right down the middle of the plate. I just
we've talked about that
what is that approach?
every once in a while. Just and it doesn't have to be every single time. Just once
Just get
once in a
them to
while.
think
Yeah,
that you're going to.
because it's a fastball down the middle. It's 95 down the middle every single time. And if you just get a hold of one and put one in the stands, if you put one down the line, they're not the next at bat. They're not going to say, okay, well I can just throw it down the middle and get ahead on you.
Yep.
And he's very good at working accounts. I don't.
No, he
I don't.
is. He
But you don't always have to do that. You don't have to play
Yeah.
Superman with the count.
He'll take an 0-1 and go take that like to a 10 pitch at bat.
Right.
He'll fight
Which
up.
is great. But like every once in a while, it's nice to swing at first pitch and see it go over the wall or see it go down the line.
Yep. Bohm. I like.
Yeah.
I just like God. Did he just like irritate me? Just that this entire like you get benched in game 2, and you would think like the fire like would get lit under you to like want to just come in like game 3. Like I'm gonna show this guy.
He did
and
have
even
a
if
hit.
it is Thompson.
Yeah,
he had a hit that got thrown out at
right.
second.
He's slower than me. Yeah.
He led. Didn't he lead the major league in doubles this year?
No, he was leading. He had 43 going into August, or I think it was going into August, and you ended at 46.
Yeah,
but he didn't lead the league.
I don't understand. He doesn't get He doesn't like get to second there, and I don't understand on that first swing, the first approach. He got thrown out by Vientos on like he was going away from his body, and like you just see him like doof, doof, like running like a gazelle. Not even a gazelle. A gazelle runs fast. I don't even know what I would consider him.
Yeah,
but I was just like, Jesus, like you got to get on base there. Like you have to get on base there.
No, I agree.
You get the team motivated.
No, for sure.
JT just like an absolute zero at the plate.
Look, I got a thing with him. He's going into a contract year. I mean, you think this is it?
Well,
I think
we'll
it is.
see. Rafael Marchand's going to be the backup catcher this year.
Yeah, Stubbs is gone.
So it's going to give us some time to see what Marchand could do, and I think when he did play, he played pretty well.
Yeah.
You might not need a catcher that bats 275. Like
correct.
If Marchand gets away with 250, but you save all that money and you go get a pitcher, or you go get a lockdown closer, or a lockdown bullpen guy, or a Juan Soto. I mean, I don't think they'll be able to afford this guy. I think that they'd have to dump Nick and JT's contract.
So here, let's do one thing at a time. So JT, I think this is the end of JT. I think JT's last year, going into a contract year, 34 years old. I think he'll be 35. I don't know if he'll be 34 or 35 this upcoming year. He's either 34 now and going to be 35, or 33 now and going to be 34. But either way, getting up there in age, he's going to catch less and less. He caught less this year. Like you said, Marchand's going to come up. You're going to see JT catch less. He's going to play a little bit of DH. Might play a little bit of first. Get a couple off days here and there. I don't think 33. That they. Okay, so he'll be 34 next year.
Yep.
Going to be 35 when his contract is up. So I think that it's going to definitely depend on Marchand, or if they can go out and get another catcher in the following offseason. But I think that if Marchand is everything that we want him to be or need him to be, I think he could be a stopgap guy like for a couple years. Maybe he is a starting catcher. I don't know. He looked very good from what we saw this year. But apparently, do you know that they have a young kid? He's like 17 in the minors that's supposed to be really good. Or
No.
projecting to be.
Where did we get
I
him
forget
from?
Eduardo Tate, I think his name is. I think he was an international signing, which they need to do. They need to bring in a Dominican with fucking dreads and like I saw. Did I send you that tweet?
No.
Okay, I may have sent it to somebody else. Somebody tweeted out the Phillies need a Dominican with a big gaudy chain, dreadlocks, and elbow gear that doesn't match the uniform. So, he brings in a little flavor. But yeah, this kid, I think his name is Eduardo Tate. He's 17 or 18. He's supposed to be projected to be very good. But again, like a lot can change in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Dude,
So
did you just
yeah,
watch
I
the
just don't know that JT is gonna be here after this year, after this not upcoming year. I really don't.
Did you just see this play?
Yeah, right now the pitcher is about to throw the first pitch.
Oh, you're not watching the Buffalo
Oh
game?
no, I'm watching the Yankees.
Rogers just threw a Hail Mary at halftime touchdown to Alan Lazard.
Oh, good. That's not our guy.
Yeah, 2017 going
Yeah.
in at halftime.
I hate Aaron Rodgers, but
Sorry.
no, you're good. You're
You were
good.
saying we need a Cuban
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Dominican Cuban.
Yeah. Anybody that's like from underneath the equator, sign me up.
Well, okay.
Or are they above the equator? I
Johan
don't know.
Rojas?
Catcher, I meant. Sorry.
Oh.
No, I didn't mean catcher. I just meant no, I'm good on Johan Rojas. You bring in Juan Soto. You put him in left field. You have Castellanos in right. And then I'll go play center field. No, Trey Turner plays center field. I move Stott back to shortstop. And then I go out and get, because Edmundo Sosa is not a starter in this league. Very good bench player. Cannot play 162. I go out and get a very cheap second baseman. Maybe his name's Whit Merrifield. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't. You can't.
What?
You
Can't do what?
Whit Merrifield.
No, I was just kidding. I'll go play second. I'll go play second base. I'll do it for like 300,000.
Do it for $30.
That might be a little too cheap for me, but I'll do it for like 300,000. I'll play second base.
You think you got it?
I'm better than Whit Merrifield.
Yeah,
What'd you say? You cut out.
I said, yeah, probably.
No, I'm not. I'm nowhere near that. But
Are you? What are you doing at third? You Bohm? You just letting him get out of this contract?
Okay, realistically, I'm just kind of kidding about the Soto thing. The only reason I brought up Soto was because there was a report today. I think it was Buster Olney or one of the big beat writers basically came out with something that said that he thinks after seeing John Middleton lose is more than willing to go out and get Juan Soto now, more than ever. Kevin Long, obviously, with the relationship, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner having a relationship with Soto. He thinks that Middleton is going to be all in on Soto and doesn't really matter what it costs. My thought is, if they were willing to give Yamamoto the biggest offer last year, and whether that's what did he sign for, $300 million with the Dodgers,
$330 or something,
whatever it was, whether it was $1 more or $30 million more or $50 million more, whatever it is, it's a lot of money, right? Like it's they just, for whatever reason, cultural things, they just could not get him because they have nobody else here that was Japanese, right? I think the Juan Soto thing is there's familiarity here with the hitting coach. I think there's familiarity here with the two friends. Being in the league now, he's a left-handed bat in this stadium. I think that's a legitimate thing. Do I think it happens? No, but I do think it's legitimate that there will be interest from the Phillies. My realistic thing is next year I go in with Trey Turner in center, and I'm dead serious about that. I've been saying it for a year and a half now. I think Trey Turner kind of moves to center. It's just the best thing for him. I don't know if you know this. Trey Turner grew up a center fielder.
I did not
Until college. College, he moved to shortstop. He played a little bit of shortstop and center field, but mostly center fielder. And then when he went to college, they made him. He was going in as a shortstop. They moved him to third in college, and then back to shortstop after like his sophomore year or something. I believe his first career game in the MLB, he played center field. So he's got some experience playing center field. It's not like he's never played the position before. I moved Trey Turner to center field. Nick stays in right. I move Stott to shortstop. I go out and get a cheap second baseman. Bryce plays first. Bohm is back next year. As much as I think he's overrated compared to what a lot of people were saying in June. It
Well,
wasn't
he
just one
did play
person on this
well.
show. So, and
He
I made
played well.
him,
He played well.
and but I made sure the other guy on the
You were
show.
right.
What's that?
You were right. You were right.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I got you both to say it. That's crazy.
He showed what he was.
So, but I do think they do bring him back because I think being a 15 to 20 homer guy that could hit what did he hit this year? 280? Whatever it was. I think if he hits you 15 homers, hits 280, and like plays average third base, like he's fine if he's your 6th or 7th hitter. So he's probably back for one more year. The only thing with Bohm is you're gonna have to pay him soon, and like you have to make that decision like pretty quick, whether it's this offseason or next offseason. But I do think he comes back. I think you can move Stott to shortstop, get a cheap second baseman. JT and Marchand are your catchers, and then I go out and I try to sign Teoscar Hernandez to play left field.
Okay.
Right-handed bat, gets you 25 to 35 every year. 80, 90 RBIs. I think this year he hit 290 something or 280 something. He's the perfect guy behind Bryce. If Nick is hot, Teoscar can move to the 5 hole. I just think it works out. I think they should have signed him last offseason.
I do too. I was just going to ask you, what about Cody Bellinger?
I like Cody. He's actually got really great numbers against lefties too. So that doesn't really concern me. He's a great defender. I know he's got 1 Gold Glove. He might have 2. So I wouldn't be opposed. I think you could put him anywhere. Honestly, I think you could play him left, center, or right. I think you could play a little bit of first if you need. He did it this year. He moved all over this year for the Cubs. So I wouldn't be out on Cody Bellinger, but he has to opt out. I believe he's got an opt in, opt out.
He does.
So I would be in on Cody mostly because he can hit the lefty. Like I think this year he hit close to 300 against lefties.
Marcelo Zuna.
3 years ago. 5 years ago.
Okay.
I just obviously had an MVP year or MVP type year. I just think he's going to really transition to the DH full time. Go ahead.
Michael Conforto?
Nah, lefty.
Okay. I'm just going off of the top.
Yeah. The only lefty I really would consider is Bellinger, probably. The outfield list is not great.
No, it's not.
I think like Tyler O'Neill is out there.
Yep. Jock Peterson.
No, lefty.
I'm trying to Harrison Bader.
No, thanks. Great defender.
Yeah, it's not great.
He's just Rojas. Yeah.
It's not great.
No. So they're either going to have to make a trade or they have to upgrade the outfield. And I would throw 3 years, 4 years, 80 million, 85 million at Teoscar. I would. 32 years old. You get 2 great years out of him. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
he can play left field. He can play right field. What'd you say?
Yeah, and he has no problem ball out of a stadium.
He what?
He has no problem putting the ball out of the stadium.
No, none at all.
He has no problem with that.
No. Especially at a field like this, a ballpark like this, like Dodger Stadium's a little hard for right-handed bats to get. It's really hard for left-handers too, but like it's not like it's more of a pitcher's park, Dodger Stadium, where Citizens Bank is a hitter's ballpark. So he could get 30 plus. And you know what? You know what I was also thinking?
This year too.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
And he plays good defense. He plays solid defense. He plays solid defense too. You know what else I was thinking about too with the Phillies? You know me. I'm not this big Hoskins guy. I'm not this. I like the guy. The player's fine. No. But what I'm saying here is their gamble didn't work out, right? like they chose Rojas over Hoskins. And I don't care how much
Yep.
people sit here and say, well, Bryce wanted to play first. And if management went to
If
Bryce
you
Harper
tell
and said,
Bryce, yep,
if you play left field, we want you to play left field this year, he would say, if that's what's going to win us a championship, I'm going to do it. He is 100% that
yep,
guy. And I just think that they said, listen, Rojas didn't have a great playoffs, but he hit 300 in the regular season. He plays great defense. I think we're really going to try to develop this kid. And they picked that over the guy that hits 30 homers from the right side.
yep, yeah.
So they
No, I agree with you.
really missed that this year.
Yeah, somebody said, I forget who I was talking to about. I said something about Juan Soto, and somebody was like, "Yeah, but Bryce said he's playing first base for the foreseeable future." I'm like, until management goes to him and says, "Bryce, can you please play left field, right field?"
What does that have
Like
to do with
he's
Soto,
of
though?
course gonna say yes. I just was I forget who I was talking to. It was like something with maneuvering JT around and
Okay.
like maybe you put JT first, like to like alleviate. I think I said you trade probably Castellanos and to
Yeah, yeah.
get Soto in here. But he definitely would do whatever the team needs to
Yeah,
win.
absolutely. The whole like article that came out last year that Bryce decided to play first, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that he said I'm going to play first, or like it's a I genuinely think they came to him and said we really prefer you to play first because we think that it'll help you out in the long term, help us out in the long term, it'll keep
Yep.
your body. I just don't think that he would say no if they said, hey, we really want you in left field because we want Reese back, or we want to go out and get this first baseman because we really think that it'll make our team better. You know,
Yeah.
so
No, I agree.
they
I
essentially
totally
chose
agree.
Rojas over Hoskins, and it kind of backfired a little bit.
It backfired big time. I mean, how many defensive runs did he have saved in center field?
I'm not sure.
I didn't know if it was enough to like
I could look it up.
Would Marsh be able to do that?
See, I'm fine with Marsh playing center field. If he was your full time center fielder, depending on what you did on the out, what you did in left field, as long as he's like your 8 or 9 hitter and
Yep.
he plays an okay center field. Like
Yeah.
he's not a great defender, but he's better than average. I don't really love him in left field.
No. No.
But yeah, but again, I would throw Turner in center and say, and you could keep Marsh if they move Turner to center field and you go out and get a guy like Teoscar or Cody Bellinger or whatever, and you put that guy in left field, you can still keep Marsh. He's cheap. He's young.
He's controllable.
He's
You
controllable
have
for the
him
next X amount of
controllable.
years. He can come in late in games, play defense. He could come pinch run for you. He could pinch hit, and he's not going to be a starter, but he could play more than a bench player can. Like it's fine. It's just you
Yeah.
can't rely on Brandon Marsh to be a playoff guy for you. It just isn't working out.
Yeah, and that's it's though because you could tell he's one of the guys that does have heart.
For sure,
You
he's a
know what
good
I
guy.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
and he wants to win. Like even when they were losing, like he's going up there putting his all into an at bat. When you're losing, what game was it? Game 3 did get blown out.
the blowout was game at home or
No, it was it game 3? I think what was that 8-1 or 7-1? He goes out there and he tries his hardest. Like I think he came in as a pinch hitter that game.
yeah,
I think he got benched. He was benched that game. But
it
at
was
least
seven
he's
seven
out there
two.
trying.
Yeah,
7-2.
it's yeah. I just don't think Marsh is a legitimate 162 player, um, every playoff game kind of player. He's a nice player. He's nice to have on a team. I'm just kind of over the like daycare bullshit too. Like I'm just kind of sick of it at this point. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a ton of things
Yeah,
that they need to
get
do, can
get
do.
rid of it.
The
Yeah.
only would you say?
I said get rid of it. Like
Yeah.
break it up.
Tear down that fucking bar in Fishtown that puts up the stupid murals of the stupid fucking athletes that the city loves, who all stink. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they do. There's still a lot of baseball
10,
played
10,
left.
defense, 10 defensive runs saved this year. That's what Rojas had.
Okay, I don't know where that I don't know where that puts him.
Yeah, I just said that, like, it
Yeah.
just said he's the best defender you haven't heard of yet. That's what the post said.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
I really I think the problem was last year, game 6 and 7, you had your 5 through 9 be able to hit, and you didn't have your
Yep.
top 4 hit. Where this year it was the
Yep.
opposite, and it's like basketball. Like basketball, you need your bench players to come off and play both ends. You need a great starting five, but like usually every team that makes the playoffs has a good or great starting five. So that goes without saying. I think that in basketball you need a couple 5 or 6 guys to come off the bench that can play both ends at a high level. That wins championships. I think in hockey, it's the third and fourth line, the guys that get in the dirty areas. Again, your first 2 lines are good or great,
The
whatever.
gritty guy.
Yeah, it's the same thing with baseball. You just kind of really need your 5 through 9, 6 through 9 to be able to pull their weight a little bit. And it just didn't happen this time. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well,
yeah,
what
what were you
about
saying
pitching? Where do you stand on pitching?
on
I know
pitching?
you said that. Yeah, I know me and you had talked, and you said that you think Caleb Cotham might be the next head coach of the Phillies.
Yeah. I genuinely do think because just on how great the outside of the postseason, how great the bullpen was this year, and even the starters. I thought Zach Wheeler is in the conversation for Cy Young. Nola had a great year compared to the last couple of years. Sanchez made a name for himself. Ranger started off the
Yeah,
first 9 starts
All-star.
where he was going to be the first Philly ever to win his first 10 games, like to go 10-0 in his first 10. So like obviously, I think his issue was a little bit more of injury. Um, so, um, I think Caleb Kaufman like really. I think they're projecting for him to be because I think Thompson's out this year. After this year, I think they bring
Julio.
him back. Yeah, I think whether they win or lose, I think he retires because his contract is up. His contract up
I
after this
thought you
year.
were saying. I thought you were saying he's out like this year
No,
because
no,
they
no, no, no,
said
no.
they're having long discussions on that.
They what?
They said they're having long discussions on Thompson.
Yeah, yeah. Why not bring him back? I mean, listen, I understand the
Yeah, I mean,
argument. I understand the argument that they've regressed every year. I understand the argument that you only have so much time to win with this core, so go out and try to change something that hasn't worked. Um, my thing is like the last 2 years we've begged Thompson to make the move in series, right? Like go out and be bold, like, and he finally did it this year, and people are pissed off, like because he sat Bohm game 2
yep,
and so you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
a lot of people complain about that. I thought that his bullpen selection last year wasn't fantastic. It was good the year before because it really worked out. Last year it wasn't fantastic. You and I may argue. I don't remember if it was you and I, but it might have been me and Mike. Who the hell else were they going to throw out there for Kimber? Like Kimber was like the only guy they could throw out there in that game, and it just
yep.
backfired on them. They should have won the series. They didn't lose because of Thompson. This year it's just the approach wasn't there, and I understand the argument of firing him, but I wouldn't personally do it. So I think that
I think
I think this is the last year. Whether I don't think there's going to be a world where the Phillies fire Rob Thompson. I think it's going to be Rob Thompson and the Phillies agree to part ways and Rob
part
Thompson
ways.
retires. Like I think that's legitimately could happen this year or next year. But I do
Yeah,
think he stays one more year, and then at the end of the year, whether they win the whole thing or lose, he's going to retire.
yeah. I actually agree with. I think me and you were talking about like the arms that he put out there in that situation this time go around.
Yeah.
Like they weren't the wrong decision.
No,
Like
they didn't pitch well.
yeah, the only one that I'm gonna okay, I don't know why he did that. Was putting Hoffman back out there after sitting for 20
Yeah,
minutes,
I don't
but
disagree.
but I mean, he was your guy all year. Why wouldn't you think you couldn't go back to him?
Sure.
That would
And
be my only person.
and I don't believe that one decision changes a whole series or not changes, because it can change a series. I don't think that one decision dictates an entire series. I think that Kimbrel coming out there in what was it, game 4 or 3? No, game 3. No, 4,
Last
4,
year,
game 4. It was game 4. It comes out in game
4.
4 last
Yeah.
year. They obviously lose the game. I don't think that changed the series. I think the bats just changed the series. So like, I don't think it can hurt a series. It could hurt a game or change a
Yeah.
game, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't see them firing Dombrowski. Dombrowski's been to 5 World Series since '97. He's won 2 of them. He went back to back one of those years. We went to World Series with him. So like, I don't see that happening. The only thing I will say is Miller, Crawford, and Painter have to be great, because if they're not, and you didn't
Yep.
make the moves to go get a big time bat by moving one of those names or all of those names or some of them, I think is really gonna if they're not great, we're really gonna sit here and I'm gonna be pretty upset about it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they basically were untouchable, is what we were told. Those
Yeah,
3 were untouchable. Um, you went out there and got Austin Hayes. Like that was the move that you made and got, and it just wasn't good enough going into the last quarter of the year.
yeah,
Like you didn't have that guy that you could trust on to like when that's the other thing this year, especially than any other year. When the bats went cold, it was cold for the whole team.
yeah.
Which in years before, it's been like, okay, Harper's
2 or 3
cold.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah, Harper and Real Muto are cold, but the other guys are hot. This second half of the year, and especially that last August,
yeah. A
like
couple weeks. Yeah,
dude, like when they were off, like you're like grinding out games 1-0.
yeah.
And like, it's pathetic. It was like a pathetic showing. And then you make it into the playoffs, and I don't know if you remember all the reports that were like, oh, they're playing them really hard interleague squad matches, like getting ready for the Mets. What you went out there game 1 and showed, like pitiful.
Yeah.
Like you
You,
weren't
you
even.
you have to have run support for your best pitcher, and
Yeah.
they just couldn't do it.
Yep. And just like the worst part about it all is like the moment was bigger than them this year.
Yeah,
And you're home. Like you didn't have to deal with going to a place and have to deal with their fans. Like you had us here to support you, and you just like and
but
like
also on the same token, you also need to give the fans something to cheer about. Like, people were
yeah, of
upset
course.
after game or halfway through game 2 when the fans weren't doing anything. Like, the players have to do something for the fans to go crazy. Like,
Yeah. And then like you're batting against Senga, who like didn't play like for 3/4 of the season.
more than
Like
that, he
put
pitched
the bat
five
on.
and 5 1/3 the whole year.
Okay, even worse. Yeah, 5 the whole year.
Yeah,
And like, oh, we're worried about the ghost forkball. Like, just don't
great pitch.
swing. Lay
Yeah,
off
great
it.
pitch.
Yeah,
But
lay
yeah,
off it.
he hasn't pitched since March, literally. um,
Yeah.
yeah, my bold prediction this offseason is: do I think Turner moves to center field? Probably not. That's what I would do. But what I think my bold prediction this year is they figure out a way to trade for Crochet without giving up Painter and one of those other 2 big guys. I think that they figure out a way to trade for Crochet, because you saw those reports at the deadline that they were on the phone with Chicago. I think it was Jason Stark who came out and said they were on the phone with Chicago to the last minute. They just didn't want to give up Painter. I think that my bold prediction is that they find a way to get Crochet without giving up Painter, and they possibly move Suarez to the bullpen, like
Okay.
long
I
term.
wouldn't.
And I think
Yeah, I
your
wouldn't hate
5
that.
next year would be Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Crochet. Not in this order. Crochet and Painter. I think that's your opening day
You think
5.
you think Painter's gonna make the
Yeah,
team,
I do. I do.
and then Walker, where you at on him?
I think that there's a possibility. I think I said this on the show. I don't know if you were
Yeah,
on it or
moving
not.
into the bullpen.
Yeah, I think that there's a possibility that they might say in spring training, like, we'll give you a shot out of the bullpen. And maybe at the beginning of the year, they'll say, like, we'll give you that shot just because he's owed a lot of money for the next 2 years. And if it just doesn't work out, they'll DFA him. But I wouldn't be shocked if they as soon as this is over, they just say, as soon as the offseason starts, they just say, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. But yeah, that took up a lot of time. I didn't realize how much time
Yeah.
that was going to take up because we have still have to cover the Eagles. Oh, great! There you go. Paul George removed
Yep,
from the preseason game.
hyperextended. Yeah,
Yep, left knee. Great.
Yeah,
What a start!
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
What a
I
start!
saw it like 20 minutes ago, and I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah. So the Eagles played a game. We'll try to keep this a little quick because it is getting a little late, and I do have to
Yeah.
run soon.
Yeah.
So the Eagles played a game this week. I hate everything about Philly sports, even though they won. I'm depressed about everything, even after a win. It didn't feel like a convincing win. Listen, you always take an ugly win over a pretty loss every day of the week and twice on Sunday. There were. I kind of want to talk about the. Okay, let's go back to the Atlanta game, right? Remember when you said if Saquon catches the ball, we're probably really not even upset or talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And I said, you're probably right. You're probably right. We're not upset, but I'm questioning it. I'm still questioning it. Well, that happened this week. The Jahan Dotson, and I'm skipping over a lot right now, but the Jahan Dotson catch under 2 minutes on the sideline, out of bounds, made no sense. And then the
Yeah.
A.J. Brown deep ball made absolutely no sense. Whether it's Kellen Moore or Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts calling plays, I don't know who it is. I truly don't. Insanity. It wound up working out. I'm not upset, but I'm questioning it. Right.
Yeah.
I thought that this week the defense played really well. I think that
Really well. Really.
yeah, they guess what, dude? They followed the trend, right? They followed the trend. If you get a little bit of pressure on Watson,
On Watson, he's going to throw
he's
it
going to
away.
crumble. He's going to crumble. And what they did was they were able to. They did blitz a little bit this week, little bit more than they usually do. I just saw the stat.
Dude, like, what about DeJean getting back
Oh
there
no,
on the
well, yeah,
blitz?
yeah. Well, I don't know why he doesn't wrap him up, but there was there was
He
one play.
thought, I mean,
He was like, yeah, oh yeah, I could just hit it, dude. This is the NFL, like like you can't
Yep.
just shove
Yeah.
a guy with your arm, like. And my other problem with them getting to Watson was it took like 3 or 4 guys. I know he's a big guy, like he's one of the bigger quarterbacks in the league, but it shouldn't take 3 or 4 guys to almost get him down.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to complain. They
What did
gave
they
up
have,
16 points at
sacks?
home, something like that. Yeah. I think Jalen Carter
They
had
gave up
one. Graham had one. DeJean, right? DeJean had one.
DeJean. Ojomo had one.
Yes, and Josh Sweat, right?
Zach Bond. Oh, did Bond have one?
He may have. I know Bond had the
I'm
second
checking
most
right
tackles on Sunday,
now.
but it felt like they got there a lot with the 4-man rush, and they also blitzed a little bit more than they usually do. It's encouraging to see because that's what I've been saying. If you get a little bit of pressure, it helps the secondary. It helps the Gene play, which I thought he had a good game.
He
Quignon had a
did.
good game.
Nolan Smith, Josh Sweat,
I knew Sweat had one.
Cooper DeJean had half a sack with Milton Williams.
And Jalen Carter may have
Bryce
had a half
Huff
a sack.
Bryce Huff had half a sack with Thomas Booker, and Jalen Carter had a full sack.
Okay.
Nakobe Dean, 12 tackles. Zach Bond, 8. Wow, out of Nakobe's 12 tackles, 7 of them were solo.
Yeah.
That's
I got a text.
good
I got a text from Mike that said he wasn't a good tackler. I just throwing it out there. But
he's
horrible in coverage. Yeah, exactly. That's the one thing he can do. Yeah, I ignored it though. So what was I gonna say here? So yeah, it felt like the pass rush got there. Quignon was really pissed at CJ Gardner-Johnson because he batted away his first career interception. Do you see that? Are we frozen? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I said you said he was mad at him. Why?
You didn't see the pass breakup? It was a deep ball. Who was it? It might have been Amari Cooper. It was going for a deep ball, and Quignon had great coverage on him, made it look like he was open and he wasn't, and he caught up to it. He goes up to go for it, and CJ Gardner-Johnson comes out of nowhere. It was a little underthrown. CJ Gardner-Johnson comes out of nowhere and bats it down, and you just see Quignon just like throw his arms up, like it was going to be a clear pick.
Interception.
Yeah. He got upset at CJ Gardner-Johnson, but he just looks like a stud. I don't know if you saw his stats. I think he gave up one catch for 9 yards or 19 yards, whatever it was.
Dude, he is, and dude, DeJean played great.
Yeah.
Like, that gives me some hope. Did you see the 2 weeks before the game against Tampa Bay? Did you see it was like the difference between Quignon and Avonte Maddox?
No.
So Avonte Maddox is talking to Mike Evans, and he's like, "Yo, you still game?"
Slay. It was Slay, wasn't it? Slay?
No, it was Avonte and Quignon.
Okay.
And he's like, "Yo, you still game, bro?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's
go."
Yeah. And then Quignon just like, "You ain't getting open on me." He's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "You know who I am."
Dude, it was Slay too. So Maddox asked him about like gaming. He's I still game. And then later, or another part in the game, Slay went up to him and Mike Evans was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Oh man, we went up together in college. Like I played you in college." Blah blah blah. He's like, "Oh, we're in this league. Like we've been in this league. We're old heads now. Like it's him and Slay. Like." Which I don't have a problem with.
Around.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Slay's a great corner.
I like Quignon to just go right back at him.
For sure. No, it's a lot of fun. I think it's great that Quignon looks at him and says, "I don't even know who you are."
Yeah,
like it's fantastic, and he backs it up. That's the best part. Those are the best. My favorite players are the guys that talk shit but are able to back it up. Yeah. Overall, the offense. You wish they scored more points at home. AJ Brown is special. No turnovers, thank God. I felt like there were some points because I don't know if you saw, but apparently Hurts and Sirianni got together over the bye.
Break. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess they figured some things out, and it kind of felt like at some points that the offense looked different, and I'm kind of hoping that means that if my speculation is correct, that Kellen Moore's having a little bit more of a say at certain points, but there were definitely some points yesterday where it felt stale. It still felt like the same team from the end of last year and the beginning of this year. The one thing I'm happy with too, and even though the running game wasn't great yesterday, they stuck with it, which was good.
Yeah.
So overall, it was not a convincing win, but it's good to get a win.
Dude, they ran an option. Like they ran that. It's been like a while since I've seen them run like an actual like sweep out option where he faked it to Saquon for a second and then brought it back to himself for Jalen for a little bit of a run. And they let the Browns put up 16, but it wasn't a real 16 because one was a
blocked kick,
by Rodney McLeod, out of all people, goes and scores.
I thought it was Gardner. I thought it was Garrett.
Myles Garrett blocked it. McLeod picked it up and scored.
Gotcha.
Old Eagles still like
dude. It was like the Super Bowl reunion. It was Jim Schwartz, McLeod. Who else? Jordan Hicks.
Yep.
Yeah. I think I there were some points. I also felt like yesterday too that Jalen Hurts, where last year it kind of felt like he got out of the pocket too early, where so far this year he's gotten out of it a little too late. I kind of felt like yesterday felt like a lot of the times he got out just at the perfect time.
Yeah. He only took one sack.
And moved to the right, which is his dominant side, which is his comfortable side, and was able to get rid of the ball, whether it was for completion or throwing it away or running it. So there are some positives there, but I still not. It wasn't a convincing win for me where I'm sitting here like so excited on Monday morning,
Yeah.
Because I really think that they should have handled that team yesterday. And the biggest thing that I wanted to talk about, obviously, is what happened after the game. Sirianni jawing at the fans. I don't know if you saw the thing on Reddit that came out a couple hours ago that said there was a guy in the front row. So the person that posted on Reddit said, "I was there, but I was inebriated, so I don't remember everything. But I was there, and the guy in the front row kept yelling at Sirianni to run the ball, and finally Sirianni turned around after the game and said, "Look, we ran the ball and we won the game." But I don't remember because I was inebriated. Like I think you want to see conspiracy theorists? I think that the Eagles hired somebody to write that, but that's just me, or somebody in house wrote that. I wouldn't put it past this fucking GM. That's just me. But I don't know how you're inebriated, but you remember. Like I don't remember, but I remember. And also the whole like holding his hand to the ear. I don't think that shows anything other than look at I can't hear you. Look,
Yeah. Yep.
Listen, I think he's an animated guy. I've liked it in the past. I guess my issue is that after when did they play the Saints? Week 3. After the Saints game, he got pissed at Jalen Carter for yapping at the fans and the other team for being a competitor, which I love.
Yep.
And now he's doing it. Like he's
To
done it
your
in the
own-
past. He's
to
done it in
your
the
own-
past. Right.
your own
To your own
fans.
fans. He's done it in the past. He did it in Kansas. Remember they were in Kansas City last year and
Yeah.
he went out and did it against Kansas City.
Yep.
And then he goes out and tells his player he can't do it, and now he's going out and doing himself to his own fans. So like I don't know. I think the guy's a tool. I don't think he's a good coach.
The haircut's terrible.
What'd you say?
The haircut is terrible.
Yeah. It's like 2007 Britney. Like
Looks awful.
I'm close. I understand what she went through. Like I'm starting to understand like 2007 Britney here. Like I'm close. But
Philadelphia sports gets you there.
oh man. But yeah, I mean overall, I don't feel too confident in the fact that they only beat the Browns. But guess what? They could probably go. What are they at? 3-2 right now. They could
3-2.
probably go 6-2 with these next 3 or 4 opponents.
Yeah. Who do they have up next?
They go to Cincinnati. Was that next week or the week after?
I think that's the week after.
Okay, so they go to the Giants next week. They go to the Bengals the week after. And then they come home to Sunday Night Football against the
Jaguars.
horrible Jaguars.
Yeah.
They should guess what? The Jaguars play in London again next week, so that's 2 weeks in a row. Just leave Peterson there.
I
Just
think
leave
they're
Doug.
gonna.
Just,
I actually
just leave
do.
Doug there.
Yeah, I unfortunately for Dougie P, he's gonna be without
Not a good
Doug.
coach. Great guy. Seems like a
Yeah.
really great guy. I appreciate 2017. I love him for it. I don't know if he's allowed back in the country.
Shad
So-
Khan's leaving him over there.
Yeah. We might send him to Ukraine, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Whatever-
but yeah,
whatever-
I mean, if
whatever
there's if there's anything else about the Eagles,
no, I think they just played a. We haven't seen them play a complete game yet, so
Yeah.
we're still waiting on that. I'm hoping the Goddard injury and the Mailata injury aren't too.
Mailata, I think, is a
bad.
couple weeks. They came out and said it was just a hamstring.
Yeah, they both had hammies though, right?
Who was the other guy you said?
Goddard.
I didn't see anything on him. I obviously I know he got hurt, but I didn't see any injury update on him. But I did see that Mailata is not as bad as they thought.
Well, a couple of weeks is still not great
For sure. But I thought Fred Johnson came in and played well yesterday.
Yeah.
He played well in the game that he kind of come in for. What was it the Saints game for Johnson?
Right. Yeah.
For Lane Johnson, yeah. And then the following game, he did not look good. So maybe we just bring him in the second quarter every week
Yeah.
from here on
Start
out.
the game off with
It's like Bailey Falter. Like Bailey Falter starting,
oh my god.
spot starting in the second inning. Yeah, he's really bad in the first inning. So
yeah, let's just put him in
just
the
throw him in the second.
Yeah.
Idiots.
Completely idiot.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, we covered all four teams. So yeah, I think we're getting out here. Go ahead.
1 second. What is the
Yeah.
chances that the Detroit Lions land Hassan Reddick?
Well, did you see what his news today?
Yes, I saw that they offered him a contract that would have erased it all.
Well, more than that, who he hired,
Yeah, to go.
Drew Rosenhaus.
Oh, did he drop? Did he hire Rosenhaus?
Yeah, so his management basically got rid of him. He hired Rosenhaus. Rosenhaus is at the game tonight in the box with the Jets management and basically said we're going to try to get something done.
Yeah,
He
I
wants to
bet
play. He wants to play for the Jets. He wants to be a Jet. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
So,
he'll be on
are you watching the game?
Yeah,
He's there currently, Drew Rosenhaus.
Yeah,
So,
he'll be on Detroit because Detroit said today that
dude,
they
how
are
bad is that?
that they're willing to mortgage the house for a defensive like a pass rusher.
Yeah. How sick is that, man? Aiden Hutchinson,
Yeah,
one of the best in the league, one of my favorite non-Eagles. I'm sure you did you actually watch it?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
God.
bad.
Yeah, yeah.
He might not play until 2026.
They
Like
said
it's that bad.
emergency surgery too
Yeah,
last
in
night.
Dallas. Yeah,
Yep.
they helicoptered him in. It's a shame, but I guess it comes with the game, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Like and subscribe. All that bullshit that every podcast tells you to do. We want you to do the same. Like I said in the beginning of the show, if anybody didn't hear, I will not be doing an intro or outro because I don't know how to use this program. So I'm just gonna blame Mike. Mike was supposed to come on, but 3 minutes after 9 o'clock, he texted us that he wasn't gonna be able to come on. So we'll just blame him. So
Yeah.
so that'll do it for the show. Like I said, like and subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your friends, tell your goldfish. I don't care. To listen to the show, and we will see everybody next week.